Hello, Diana and Rita. Great to have you.
Oh,
Just
I've been speaking. I did not know I was on mute. Can you imagine?
oh no,
Oh
Yes,
my god.
Rita.
Rita.
Oh my god, it's crazy. I've been speaking for like the last 5 minutes and oh okay. I mean that's part of it. All right. So I guess we have to start again. Welcome to our metaverse space on starting your brand as a Web3 ghostwriter. I'm sorry for wasting your time. I mean, it's a honest mistake. All right, so I'm your host. My name is Rita, and I'm the community manager at their academy, and I'm excited to be here today with Diana. I'm sure we have heard about ghostwriting and or who a ghostwriter is, and this is not your first time. I mean, ghostwriting, it's simply the practice of writing content for someone else, right? So, and then the person publishes it under their own name. It has been around for a very long time. It's not a concept that just, came up with, Web3. It has been around for a very long time. And, it's becoming increasingly popular in the Web3 space, right? This is because there is a high demand for high quality content about Web3. And, many Web3 projects and even, thought leaders, they don't have the time or resources to create their own content. And as a ghostwriter, you play an important role in the ecosystem, by helping to educate and inform the public with your um writing skill. Also helping these brands to promote what they do. Like I mentioned, and guest Diana. We had the privilege of hosting Diana in the past. I think two times, right, on our Twitter spaces, and talked about content, talked about branding, talked about becoming a social media manager, and Diana has every time three doors and done a very very interesting things with those sections that we have. And I'm so excited to that she agreed to join us again today to talk about how you can start your brand as a Web3 ghostwriter and monetize your skill. Right. All right. So, to jump into the first question that I have, if you're listening to me from Discord, I know we have some listeners on Discord, or if you're watching from YouTube and you have questions, we have 10 minutes at the end of this space to answer your question. If you have ever wanted to know how you can become a ghostwriter, if you have ever wanted to know how you can monetize your writing skill and build a brand for yourself, this is the chance to ask your question and get all the information complete, right? All right, so to jump into my first question that I have for Diana today is a very interesting question. And what inspired Diana, I would like to know, like, what inspired you to become a Web3 ghost writer, right? Because I know that from the last time that we had you join us, we talked about becoming a social media manager, and that was one of our best spaces during that time, and we think you did a very amazing job. And over time you have transitioned like into this. I see your post on X, and I think you're doing very fantastic. So we want to just get into your story, like what inspired you to become a Web3 ghostwriter, and what inspired you to
Thank you so much, Rita. And firstly, thank you so much for bringing me this opportunity to be here. I honestly feel like I'm in a room with friends while I'm sitting here. So about my journey, it actually just happened. I always loved writing, and at the end of last year, I started to do a copywriting course. I was also in the Web3 space. I entered the space in 2020, I think, and I was active on Twitter every day, being updated with everything that was happening here. But I was not really creating something for myself. And at some point while doing that course, I was like, okay, maybe I can share some lessons that I'm learning in the course. And this is how I started to produce content for myself. That happened in January 2023. And I guess I also like kind of I was posting about both topics, about copywriting, but also about Web3 stuff whenever I was seeing something that interested me, like Web3 news or a topic. I was just writing about it. And I was also in some communities, and mm, in a community I got to like know someone that knew I was going, or my goal was to like write for other people. And at some point he came towards me telling me that look, I need a social media manager and I need someone to help me write the blog posts for my project and the Twitter content. And he was like, would you like it? And I said yes, but it was not a paid position. And honestly, I don't regret it. I think it was the best decision I could do. I know that not everyone agrees with not being paid. I'm also for like get paid if you can do that, but for me it just worked to like work for that project for about 2 months and get some experience on my CV, right? Because that thing led to another thing and so on. So yeah, this is how I started. I don't know if you
Wow, really
can still
interesting.
hear
And
me.
yes, I can hear you. Yes. Can you hear me? Um, okay. Okay. All right. So I think that's a very interesting transition. And one thing that I picked out from what you have just said is how you were going through a copywriting course and showing up on X every time, right? So despite that, you were already a social media manager. You're already a writer. You're already writing, showing up, right? There was still that concern about upskilling as a social media manager and in what you do. But can you like share a memorable experience like in during the time that you have been ghostwriting? Can you share an experience that from your journey, right, in the Web3 space? Can you share like any experience that has been memorable for you so far writing for clients?
Yes, of course. So actually, I was thinking to share like one thing that happened to me, and it was really like memorable for my journey. At some point, as I said, I was writing as well any stuff that I found interesting. Right, at some point, I found out about like a blockchain accounting platform, and I wrote a thread about how it works. And because of that thread, 2 months later, I had the founder of the project that reached out to me and also said to me that, hey, we are looking for someone that can help us write like newsletters and Twitter content, right? And that thread led me to actually get that position. And it was really, yeah, really interesting to me. A- Another memorable experience was actually since I was a social media manager for the project I was talking about in the first place. When I realized that you can actually have a really big impact sometimes on the development of projects, and how like you can attract new people in a certain community by making a connection with them through social media by replying to their posts. And one day while I was working, I saw the opportunity to comment under a potential like investor in the project. and invited him in the Discord. And when he entered the Discord, he like gave kind of a negative feedback about it. I went with the feedback to the founder, and the founder decided to like redo a little bit that Discord. And what I did was to go again in that comment section and told the person that previously like criticized our Discord that it is redone, and if he can do so. And he joined the community, and right now that person with that project, they have like a partnership. And I think this is one of the most valuable things for me, that um, you can really bring an advantage to that community by finding out the right people that can join in. And I honestly find amazing that these types of collaborations can start just from like sharing some valuable content under a tweet. We are not hearing you, Rita, if you are talking.
She's on mute again. Rita, can you unmute? Sorry, Diana, just hang on a second.
Yeah, no worries. I see that her mic got stuck.
Yeah, it looks like that. Having a little technical issues.
Yeah, no worries. Meanwhile, I don't know, I can just talk more about ghostwriting.
Yeah,
Talk
no,
about.
that sounds great.
Okay, okay, awesome. I know that like one question that a lot of people are asking is how to can you find like the style and your voice while ghostwriting for someone else? And I'm not going to lie, it's a pretty hard task to do, especially because there are some clients um, that have like funds from really big companies, and they also have like lawyers that advise them what to post about or not. For example, I had like a meeting yesterday. So I'm working with an agency marketing in Web3, and we had a meeting with one of our clients yesterday, and he mentioned that his lawyers advised him not to shield too much the project, or mm, not really make promises through the content on the Twitter page, right? So you really have to pay attention to that. And another thing that really helps me in finding like the perfect voice and style is having a call with the founder of the project and asking him specific questions, like what type of content they would like to focus on, because some of them like to have like case studies, or they like to focus more on the problem or on the solution that their product brings. um, what I also like to do is to analyze their previous content, um, and also check if they like to use, for example, emojis or not. Um, watch interviews also with the founder of the project, so I can get an idea of what kind of voice and tone he uses.
I'll ask a question. One thing that sounds interesting. Most people who work for a company in this kind
Yeah.
of position on a much bigger company would never interact with the founder or the head of the company. It sounds like in this position in Web3, you get a lot of
Mhm.
interaction with the people who either founded the company or are playing important roles in the company.
Mhm.
Must make it much more interesting than just being a kind of a cog in a big wheel in a big business.
Yes, that's right. I think that's also because most Web3 projects don't really have like big teams, right? Um, Most of them have like the founder and some people around it. I think that's the reason why you, yeah, you are working really close with the team of the project.
So it sounds like at a very early stage, you can have a big impact on the direction of the project.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Um, Honestly, I don't have like
I'm
I
back. Can you
have a
hear
bit
me?
of experience. Yes, we can hear you, Rita.
Okay, please go ahead. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries. Um, yeah, I actually forgot my idea. I'm sorry.
It happens to the best of us. Right? So
Yeah,
I don't know
sorry.
what happened. My mic, I mean, I couldn't unmute. It was just there. I had to refresh to come back. And yeah, one of the things that I from the other question that I asked you was how you mentioned that they reached out to you because of a thread and you actually got that gig. Is it
Mhm,
just further tells us that there's a magic with showing up, right? There's a magic with showing up and doing what you know how to do best and telling people about what you know how to do best, right? So it just has a way of like bringing
mhm,
this opportunity to you. One thing that I know about, if I know a thing or two, right? One thing that I know about ghostwriting is that you know you're writing for a client or a brand, right? And
mhm.
they have to post the content under their name, right? In their own name, meaning that they whatever content that they post has to sound like them, right? Has to be their unique writing style. So I want to know, like, what is your is it like um how do you find like your unique voice for the different client for this client? Is it like you have an interview, you go through an interview process with them to know what their goal for the content is and what they aim to achieve, or do you like do all the research by yourself? Like, how do you find, because you, as a ghostwriter, when like the people that you write for, you want to make sure that their content is sounding like them, right? Because there's sometimes where you're going through your timeline, you see a post from someone, even before you see the person name. If you have been following up with your content, something just tells you, oh, this content is from this person. So what is your process like for finding the unique voice to make sure that it's sounding like the client and it's not sounding like Diana in that case?
Yeah, thank you, Rita. I also kind of went through that question
Okay.
while we waited for you to come back. But to bring the point back, what I do is to like go to through the content that he already posted, either on his Twitter or on certain blogs. Also, like go through interviews if with the client, if there are any available, and also like have a call with them and ask what kind of content he wants to focus on, either on his page, either on the page of the project. And I also had cases when they sent me examples like, look, next week we are launching our product, and I really like this, how this thread was built, and this is how we want us to do ours as well. But I think you also learn that as you go, because I don't have it. I sometimes I don't have the content right from the first time, and I use Notion to keep like a content data with the team of the project. And usually what I do, like, I have a calendar, and on the calendar I go and write the content, right? And when it is ready from my side, it is being like checked by the team of the project, and I also receive feedback on it. And sometimes they say to me that this sounds maybe like too chilly, or we want to focus more on this rather than that, right? So I think it is also of matter of learning as you go. Um, Also, it happened to me. I honestly like to use emojis, but not a lot of emojis because I don't think it looks professional. At some point, I had like a founder telling me that, hey, I think we should use more emojis. I like doing that. So I also like rely really much on the feedback that I receive while doing the content, and yeah, the things that they want to focus.
Right. So I guess there's a lot of feedback that has to be done, and sometimes it might not just from what you have just said. Sometimes you have to like have like not just one draft but two drafts just to make sure that the content
Mm-hmm.
aligns with what the client wants. And then do you think because not so often, we I personally for me, I don't really see much ghost writers on my timeline, or maybe they are, but they're just very silent. But based on your opinion, right, for someone who is interested in monetizing their writing skill as a ghostwriter, writing for brands and for thought leaders, do you think that there is a demand for that? And are there opportunities for Web3 writers to ghostwrite for clients?
Mm-hmm. Um, yeah, I think there are opportunities, but um, I don't know if there are a lot, honestly. I don't think there are a lot. I think it will be more and more once the bull market comes back. And I also believe that you kind of build your own opportunities by building your own brand and by showing up more and more, or by showing up in certain communities, or by like just advertising yourself as a ghostwriter and putting content out there, right? So I think there are opportunities, but not as many as in the bull market.
Hmm. Well, that's a very good answer. And just to add to that, I think for anyone, I don't think I have, just thinking about it now, I don't think I have seen a, maybe there are, but I don't think I have seen a job description where they say we're looking for a ghostwriter. Must have
Yeah.
like 5 years experience ghostwriting, and stuff like that. I think really there's a lot of ghostwriting that's happening, right? But then, just like you mentioned, you have to create that opportunity for yourself, right? It's very easy for you to build your personal brand, just share your thoughts. I mean, X is there for you to just tell us what's on your mind, and for someone to come across your work, like what you do, like the way that you write your content, and they be like, hey, are you able to write for me? I think that's usually one of the ways that you can attract this opportunity to yourself, because most people want to see that you can do this thing for yourself, and then they want you to do it, right? If I want you to ghost write for me, I want to see that you write for yourself. I want to see how you write for yourself. I want to see how you structure your content, your hook, right? Your finishing, how is it? Are you having like, are you able to pass across the message, like being clear, not clever, right? Because it's something they say about writing, you have to be clear and not try to be clever, so that you don't end up confusing your readers. So creating that opportunity for yourself is just something that you have to do by showing up, right? So there's so much power, and there's so much magic to just showing up, and building your brand. Building a personal brand is, we can also say, it's almost like building a personal business. That's what we can almost say that. But then one funny question, I don't know if I'll say it's a funny question that I want to ask, is that when you have written a content, right, and then it has been published, right? Like, how do you feel? Or to restructure the question, like, how do you what do you have any challenges with anonymity, right, concerning, like, the content that you write for this client? Because I know that when you write for people, right, you can't really go out and say, hey, I wrote this content, right? Or you can't really go out and say ghostwriter for this, right? There's that
Yeah.
anonymity that has to be practiced, right? So have you encountered any, challenging aspects with, like, maintaining this anonymity and with your content?
Yeah, I think that like the biggest challenge here is that you kind of have like a limited public recognition. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
most of the times when you start working with clients, you need to sign a non-disclosure agreement, like a contract with the client, where it is mentioned that you are not allowed to share any information related to who you are working for. So it can be quite hard to build
Mm-hmm.
a brand from this point of view, because you cannot really share your results, or you really need to take care how you share them, right?
That's
Um,
right.
so I think that's the biggest challenge for me actually.
Right, especially when your content goes viral. I mean, there's no credit that comes to you, but then, I mean, that's the job, right? That's the job, and that's what you're getting paid to do. And I think ghostwriting is a very very interesting part for anyone to take. I think I've had one experience writing for a client, and it was actually very thrilling. The opportunity to be able to get their thought process, go through their previous content. What do they sound like? Right? Because you want to make sure that your content is sounding like them, right? And yeah, if you're we started the space. We are live at the Third Academy's Metaverse Lounge, and we've been talking about how to build your brand as a ghostwriter. And we have a ghostwriter with us who's, of course, sharing her knowledge with us on that topic, on the challenges that she has faced, her process to position herself for opportunities. And this space is available to you at any time, right? It's always so if you're just joining us, right, don't worry that you have missed out. You can always rewatch the section on YouTube. And if you have any question, if you're listening on Discord or on YouTube, if you have any question, right, we'll get them at the end of the section, right? So I know that there are lots of Web3 enthusiasts. There are a lot of people out there who want to find a way that they can leverage these opportunities, right? So for new writers, Diana, what advice would you give to them, new writers who want to build their brand in this ghost writing space? Like, what would you say are some of, like, the best practices, what to do and what not to do, and how to be positioned for that as a new writer just coming into the space?
Yeah. So, in regards to what advice I would give like to new writers, would be the first thing to like to optimize their profile. The PFP have a clean and nice banner representing the fact that you are a ghostwriter, and the same goes for the bio. But I don't think you have to worry too much about it. They don't need to be perfect from the first try. I also changed my banner and my bio multiple times, and I think then you just need to go and create content around topics that you like or find interesting. One thing that I used to do is to like have a Twitter list with accounts that are presenting Web3 news, And I would go there, see what topic I like, and then start doing a thread around it. Or you can just build a Twitter list with people in Web3, see what they are writing about, and inspire from there. That doesn't mean you are copy pasting their content. It means you are just seeing what people are writing, or just giving your opinion on that topics, or just rewriting them in your own voice and style. And I think one of the most important things, honestly, to do in this space, the one that helped me the most maybe, is to network. There's a saying that your network is your net worth, and I totally feel that it is true, especially in this bear market. I would advise people to enter as many communities as possible, show up on Twitter Spaces, talk there, and yeah, just get to connect with other people. This is how I landed the first position I was talking about. Even if it was not paid, I got to meet that founder through a community. And I think this is the one of the best things that you can do for yourself right now. And I think if you are putting content on your timeline, if you are networking, and if you also have like a good banner bio, you are just setting up yourself for the next uh, bull market. And I see this period as a really good opportunity to experiment on the things that you want to do, or the things that you want to write about. So yeah, those would be my that would be my advice.
And just talking about banners, I mean profile and banners. I just want to say that I love your profile on X. It's very simplified, and it's very easy for someone to come into your profile and just know that you're a ghostwriter and what you're interested in. And I think that's something that nobody should visit on. I myself have also had to like edit my profile like a million times. And as you move forward in your career, whatever you're doing, as you start writing, right, you just there's a lot of iterating and feedback that happens there, that just that you want to reflect who you are and what you do, right? So that's actually very important. Thank you very much for that answer. And if you're a new writer in Web3, I hope that you're able to not just listen to that advice, but also implement it, right? Because the result that you seek for is in the implementation, right? So make sure that you are implementing all of this advice, and soon the result always comes with it. And then also, what is your can you share with us your go-to tools and resources? How do you stay updated, right? Because there's a lot that's happening in Web3. There's a lot of noise, and as a writer, as a ghostwriter, you need to be able to filter out the noise and pay attention to what matters the most. So do you have some favorite resources that you want to share with us that helps you stay updated in the space?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I honestly think like I also have to work on that. One thing about me is that I'm still working at a Web2 job. I think I will give up on that soon, just to focus more on the Web3 work that I'm doing. But sometimes I find myself not having a lot of time. So what I do mostly is to like follow other creators in the space, listen to spaces. One thing that I started doing this year is to go to conferences, in real life conferences. I think helps you like it helps you a lot also with networking, but also with like staying
Mm-hmm.
updated with what people really
Up to
think
date.
about this space. And also
Nice.
one thing that I'm currently doing is to actually take an online course related to Web3 and the blockchain technology, just because I want like to educate myself even more on this topic and to just understand better what is happening. So this is what I'm mostly doing, but every day I'm just like following certain people that are putting out Web3 news, and this is how I can find out what has been happening lately in the space.
Well, thank you very much for that. I think we have one question from Mike. But before I get to that, I just want to talk about one more question that I think if anyone who has been anyone who is a writer or who writes whether for fun or for work, we know that sometimes you experience a phase where it seems as if things are not working right. So you experience like writer's block, and I mean your creative juices just stop flowing, and you can't. It's almost like a stumbling block. I know that I've been there at some point in my career, right? At the time when I was actively, writing. So, what's your secret for dealing with this burnout? How do you deal with writer's block? Because as a ghostwriter, that's your work, right? So we know that sometimes the ideas might not be flowing. So in that case, when you encounter like this situation, how do you deal with it to make sure that you're able to produce content in time for your clients while also dealing with that?
Yeah. Yeah, it happened to me a lot, and sometimes I also procrastinate, let's say. But what I do in that type of situation when I don't really feel that I have any ideas is to just take a break, honestly. If I can do it for 1 day or 2 days, for 2 whole days, I will do it. If I need to write the content until the next day, I will just take like a 1 hour break. And this works for me because I have a lot more inspiration when I just do things that I like. And I know that it sounds really basic, but going and having a walk in the nature or doing sports just just helps me. Um and also, yeah, what I do sometimes is to just go and see what other creators are posting. I have like a few Twitter lists, so I go there and review them, or I also go on certain newsletters. So this is what I kind of do when I don't really know what to post. I also created for myself like let's say a tweet data, some tweet templates that I have in my Notion. So whenever I don't know what type of content I can post, for mostly for myself, I don't really go there for my client. But it helps me like come up with content for my profile. So I go there in that template data and just mm, research a template that I like, and just put out an idea. And I actually can share it with anyone who is interested. It's like a yeah, it's like a Notion page with a lot of tweet templates, and it also has some thread templates. And I think it is really helpful in case you don't know what you should post about, or it also helps you see what type of or how you can structure your content actually. So in case anyone needs it, I would love to share it.
Thank you very much. I would get in touch with you on that so that I can share it on Discord, and if anyone is interested in that, which I think would be very very useful to you, right? So you can just reach out to us on Discord and you can have access to that. I'll connect with Diana to make sure that I have that ready. I think it's time for questions. If you have any question, feel free to unmute your mic and ask before we end the space.
Sure. I have two questions, two related questions. So if you're working for multiple sites, multiple communities, they have different voices. So do you have to adjust your style to meet the requirements of each different community? That's the first question. The second question is, if you do, how do you get feedback from the companies that what you're posting is something that they want or something that meets their needs, or do you just put it up yourself and they let it go? How does that work?
Yeah, so I currently work for, I post content for two projects and one founder. Um, One of the projects, like the founder has 100% trust and he lets me like put out the content. He doesn't really want to check it. And the other one, the other project and its founder, he has someone from his team that checks the content. So the first question was related to the voice and the style. Um, it is quite different. I mean, for the first project, it is a blockchain accounting platform, and I have to be kind of really objective, and some of the terms are quite technical. And in regards to the other project, which is like a marketing platform, I know I can also use like some memes or more emojis, just because I received this feedback from the founder. So um, I'm also like going a lot with the feedback of the founder, and the same goes for the content that I do for the personal brand of the founder, right? And as I said, I have like um, a Notion page shared with them. And usually, what I'm doing is to create the content, and once the content is ready from my side, I move it in the status ready to be reviewed, and someone from the team goes there in the Notion and reviews the content. And they sometimes tell me that, look, we don't want to focus today on giving out the, let's say, market solution that we're bringing in Web3. We want to focus more on a case study that we want you to research. So I have to work a lot with the based on the feedback that I receive from the team. I don't know, Mike, if that answered your question.
Yeah, it was a good answer, but one question is, as you write, as obviously you're a good writer, do you deliberately change your voice, the
Mhm.
style of writing to fit each project?
I would say yes. I would say that it depends a lot on the product that the project has, because for the accounting platform, I go more with more technical terms, and I'm really, really objective. And in regards to the other project, I try to use more like a casual voice, not I don't try to use like a lot of blockchain related terms. So I try to think also about the product when doing the content for a project. But I don't think it's like it's a super different voice.
Thank you. Thank you for that answer.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
Thank you very much, Diana, for a very interesting space and for sharing your knowledge and your experience with us today on starting your brand as a Web3 ghostwriter. And I hope that no matter where you're listening to us from, you have learned a lot from this conversation. I hope that you have learned a lot, and also feel free to, anytime that you have doubts, you can always be listening to clear your doubts on what you want to do. I personally, I believe that ghostwriting in Web3 is still in its early stages, and there's a lot of opportunities. It's growing rapidly, right? There's a lot of opportunities for writers who are talented, hardworking, and reliable. So if you're interested in being a ghostwriter and showcasing your skill, monetizing your skill, encourage you to start by building a portfolio of your work. You can start by writing blog posts, articles, threads, tweets, and other content, and just showcasing your skill, right? You can also reach out, right? You can also reach out if you see a project and you think they might be in need of your services. I mean, there's no harm in giving that a try. So you can also reach out and see if you can offer your services to this project, right? So it's actually a great way to get involved in the industry, especially if you're a writer in Web2 transitioning into Web3. And also, don't forget the place of upskilling, right? Earlier, when we started the space, Diana talked about taking a copywriting course, right? So there are a lot of standards with writing that still applies, right? So whether you are in Web2 or whether you are in Web3, you need to understand how all of this work, and then so that you can able to create content that truly resonates with your target audience. And I think that's also something else that is also important for you as a ghostwriter. You also need to understand the target audience of your clients, because you want to make sure that you're communicating the right message to the right audience to make sure that your content post results. So thank you very much for listening to our space. We've come to the end of our space, and we hope that if you want to see results, you take action and implement all of the advice that you have gotten from this, and I mean your future self will thank you. So thank you, Diana. I don't know if you have any final words that you want to share with us before we end the space today.
Yeah, firstly, wanted to thank you, Rita, for bringing me this opportunity, and just wanted to know, to let everyone know that I don't know if they have any
All right,
questions
thank you.
or
Thank you
anything.
very much, Diana. I'll connect with you to get the time so I can share it on Discord.
Yes, of course. And if
All
I
right.
can help anyone with any question related to it, I will happily do it. I'm just a DM away on Twitter.